as quiet as a church mouse. Got a stack of invoices on the floor, creditors banging on the black and green door. The kids are crying, the fridge is bare. There's a tension hanging in the stale office air. We don't want a banquet, we don't want a spree. Everybody just wants a bucket of KFC. It's a flashback, a rerun, a glitch in the screen. We've been here before, if you know what I mean. 18 months, we waited in line, running on empty, losing our minds. Now the election bills are overdue, and the party planners are coming for you. Working without compensation, it's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation, total financial stagnation. You wanna run the country, you wanna lead the way, but you can't find the cash at the end of the day. Hard-working staff left out in the cold, stories of funding that never got told. Did the wire transfer get stuck in the sand? Did Tehran run out of money on the man? Pick up the hotline, make a dash, go ask the BRICS countries for a little bit of cash. It's a bad habit, breaking the trust, turning the legacy into dust. 18 months was a lesson learned, but the bridge is already being burned. Working without compensation, it's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation, total financial stagnation. They talk about policy, they talk about the land, they talk about taking what is in your hand. Look on the bright side, through the frustration. At least it is not yet. Expropriation without compensation. Working without compensation, it's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation. Just want a KFC. Kids are hungry. Where's the money? Did Tehran run out? Working without compensation. The Wyatt Army marches on. For decades in the uniform, he held the line so tight, defending freedom everywhere from morning into night. From Europe down to Africa, the Middle East and home, the colonel hung his boots up, thought he'd rest his weary bones. He looked upon the world today, the chaos and the noise, and saw the messy circus of the digital decoys. He couldn't sit in silence, no, he couldn't look away. He waited in the battle, ready for a brand new day. They tried to shut the signal down, the shadow and the band, but you cannot stop the spirit of a mission-driven man. Folks took notice of the voice, the clarity, the spark, and gathered round the fire. He lit inside the dark, and the Wyatt Army marches on. The signal believers to the trolls beneath the bridge, to the hate wankers hiding on the digital ridge. It matters not who's listening, the evil or the kind, because the colonel's got the drive to open up the mind. Legacy media serving up the lens of lies and fake, but we shatter all the mirrors for the future's sake. Energy and enthusiasm breaking through the screen, the sharpest moral clarity the world has ever seen. They try to shut the signal down, the shadow and the band, but you cannot stop the spirit of a mission-driven man. We see the objective, yeah, we see it crystal clear. The army is assembled and the victory is here. And the Wyatt Army marches on. The signal is steady, the confusion is gone. We don't need the fantasies from the leftist side. We've got the colonel and the truth as our guide. Yeah, the Wyatt Army marches on until the fake news twilight turns to dawn. We see the objective, we know where we belong. The Wyatt Army marches on. The Wyatt Army marches on. He served the flag with honor. He served it well. Now he serves the truth, saving us from hell. No stymie to his pace, no slowing of the stride, with the Wyatt Army marching right by his side. Truth will triumph.
Marvin Devine.
Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. Welcome back to the program, folks. Good evening to folks here on the eastern coast of the United States and points further west, as well as everyone further east of here in Nova Scotia, the Republic of Ireland, Great Britain, continental Europe, of course, South Africa and the African continent, and points further east where it's already tomorrow out there in Japan. Welcome, folks. How you doing? I hope that you're not befalling any natural disaster, any tsunamis, earthquakes, hurricanes, cyclones, ANC, Democrats, or any other natural disaster that might befall you this evening. I wish you all the very best. Let me check on the sound quality this evening. Sound good? Good. Sounds good to me. All right, welcome back. President Trump spoke this evening in the Poconos in northeastern Pennsylvania, and he was lit. Clearly a politician that doesn't have a chance to run again for office, and he is not holding back. President Donald Trump is unfiltered in Pennsylvania. We're going to watch a little bit of that here shortly. But oh my goodness. Before that, just want to give you an update on a number of things here. So this is the first thing. I received this text message. Let's see how long ago this text message came to me. Shoot. Oh, there we go. This message came to me, well, less than an hour ago. It was 25 minutes ago. This message from somewhere over the South Atlantic, winging their way from South Africa's Cape Town to Atlanta, is a plane load full of South African refugees, ladies and gentlemen. It's real. It's happening. Also, I've gotten people who've confirmed they're flying as late as the 17th, so my analysis might be slightly off by a day or two, but, I was going with the work week starting that week, but apparently they're going to go further in the week with people coming over. There's Jacques Vermeulen with 140 Rand. Thank you. One of my favorite surnames, of course, one of my favorite rugby players, Dwayne. Thank you so much for the 140 Rand. Appreciate that. But this is what we got happening right now over the South Atlantic. 21:52. The flight left 22 minutes late. Arrival time is 6:34. It was 7. It is a 16-hour and 30-minute flight, which I've constantly told you anywhere between 15 to 17 hours, depending on the winds, folks. 6:34, they'll be arriving in Atlanta, flying from Cape Town. The latest batch of refugees coming over to the United States each and every day. People evacuating from South Africa in a state of complete disarray, despite the media and social media pundits lying to you about what's happening. A country with a collapsing economy, with growth less than population growth, less than inflation, with criminals in every aspect of life, with witnesses being snuffed out when high-level crime is exposed. The people children who starved to death in Port Elizabeth, the collapsing infrastructure, all of that. But despite that, South Africa is an absolutely amazing country full of amazing people. It has great potential. Unfortunately, its potential is being quashed by a gang of renegades. Welcome back, folks. There you go. So, folks coming over. Now, I do need to read this. I'm heartbroken when people take this route, but I've cautioned people. Now, this person probably didn't have this option beforehand, but says, "Hi, Colonel. I'm a white South African male living in blank. I've applied for asylum here and it has been denied, and I'm appealing. Served a notice to depart, and that they got an extension until April. And it says, I find a catch-22. I'm not being able to earn money until my employment authorization document is approved and have to pay for my EAD. So I submitted this application. Now, the grounds is I've cautioned people about asylum. This person's a South African who was denied asylum and did not experience any harm in the past, is the claim of the judge from the asylum office, and failed to demonstrate a reasonable possibility of future persecution. So when everybody tells you that, well, because we have a refugee program from South Africa, it's de facto you'll be able to just show a future fear of future persecution. I've cautioned you that for asylum cases, you can't bank on that. And here's another case of a South African who was denied asylum status, who now finds himself in dire straits somewhere here in the United States, not wanting to violate the law. And unless a miracle happens for this person will be deported or voluntarily repatriated to South Africa by April. In the meantime, they have no money. They can't legally work, which if they worked illegally would put themselves in jeopardy for their asylum case. Do you see why asylum is a bad option? A bad option. Meanwhile, I received an email from someone else. Let's see if I can find that email here. Yes, that's not the one. Let me see. Hang on a second here. I received an email from someone in Vietnam who's penniless and can't get out and can't apply for the program. And I have this one here too. This is a person who just decided to take a chance and came here before Trump became president. They sold all their things, got their passports, got their visas taken care of, paid for return flight tickets. Thankfully, they did that. It cost them 130,000 Rand for plane tickets for the family to the U.S. and back. And then came over here and bought a caravan and a vehicle that was broken down, but he fixed it, and then traveled around the country hoping to get asylum, and then approach attorneys trying to get them to provide free legal services pro bono. Of course, that's not going to happen. And unfortunately, this person had to leave the country before they were considered illegal when their visas ran up. So I appreciate people in the buying room, but you all got to stop doing this. Now, this was before this person's been back in South Africa for a year, and things are looking better for them in South Africa, but they're also applied for the refugee program. And I'm not mentioning names or where they're from or who they are, but folks, please stop with the nonsense with asylum. It is not a path. It is not a path. Almost nobody gets it. And the little lunatic who likes to slander me keeps telling people to apply for asylum. That's not a path. It's not a path. It's not a good path. And asylum is not the same as refugee status, despite what some people, shucksters and scamsters try to tell you. It's not the same thing. Phoenix, to be fair, in the case of both of those individuals, well, at least it's the second individual, they did this before Trump even became president. So I wasn't talking about refugee or asylum before then. So they were desperate and they did something, and they just hoped to go well. I appreciate that, but not a good path. Well, the good news for them is they left the country. Excuse me, they left the country in good order and didn't violate their visas, so that's not going to hurt them. So in the future, they should be okay. So that's the good news for them. So anyway, but it's not a good path. I've warned people all along. What you can do, Ingrid, is lower your resolution. Go down to a lower resolution, 720 or lower, and then it takes less data to watch. Yep. So check flight ability, all fully booked up until 19th. Reckon that's the cutoff date. Well, that's Rudolph. Then that would mean that they went a little bit further than I anticipated. Again, I had no information. So I got some smartass who wrote to me and says, "Oh, stop lying to people. You have all this information." No, I don't. That that analysis was completely out of the blue that I decided to do because people were asking, well, we come over to Christmas holidays. And I looked at it and I realized there needed to be a video, so I made a video. So you can call me a liar all you want, but that just means I was off by a week. So they go to the 19th. But I was basing it off the military. I should have been a little more circumspect about that because military typically starts as day on, day off, half-day schedules around the 15th of the month, which is on a Monday this year, so it would have been the case. And it would go for basically 3 or 4 weeks. So the State Department probably around the 17th. I'm aware of flights on the 17th. 19th is probably the cutoff, yeah. So there you go. So anyway. Yep. Anyway, so let's see what we got here in the chat. Wow, a lot of people in the chat already. Good chat rate going. I'm not going to greet everybody. I'm just going to see the comments I need to address here. Okay. You guys just chat with each other, so no real comments for me to address so far. Listening to the song, wonder what. Okay. Okay. And Jacques Vermeulen gave 140 rand super chat. Thank you for that. Mods and a few others were informed a whole day. Informed about what, Hendo? What are you talking about? What did you write? Oh, a lot of folks incoming, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I've got a bunch of stuff, too, coming into me. I also have the arrival of another South African in Maine. So that's another arrival in Maine. And there aren't many going to Maine, so probably going to know all of those people going up there. You taking a break this holiday? No. No. Live show every single day of the year, unless I'm traveling or something's going on. Friday probably won't be a program, but it won't be a live program or schedule, but I will do a surprise live broadcast from a different location. I'll let you know about that. But I've got to do an interview with Chris Sten on Friday morning, and then I've got to head out of here. I got a couple hours. I got to be on the road. And when I get to my destination, I will be making some videos. I'll do a live from the road. So that's Friday. I don't know if anything said the Northern Vermont faith, but you're right, it gets cold. Okay. And morning to everyone. Okay. No days off. I've not taken a single day off since I started doing this in February of 2020. Not a single day. I'd be hard pressed to find a single day that I didn't produce at least one video or do at least one live since 2020. Yeah. Telling intelligence officers stop lying is silly. What are you talking about? Intelligence officers don't lie. Don't lie. You're talking about intelligence operatives. That's different. It's good news that the people are still coming over. My sister and family is also progressing well. Okay. Also on that Crackpots page, I saw some comments on there. Someone sent me a screenshot, and the people responded. One said the colonel's proven wrong all the time. And the other one said, he's just a liar. But they're anonymous accounts. It's probably her logging into different accounts and signing in. Yeah, Phoenix, that's the truth. You can ask the OGs. I'm here all the time. I do 3 Christmas broadcasts. So last year I didn't do all 3 in Santa Claus uniform, but the previous years I did it on Christmas Eve for the kiddies, Christmas Day, and then Boxing Day. I know you're joking, Stella. First Christmas, Colonels, just wanted to make sure you'll be around. Oh, I'll be here, Dirk. I'll be here. Yeah, Christmas Day has historically been the biggest Super Chat day for me, but it's going to be hard-pressed to be the biggest Super Chat day this year because we had a phenomenal Super Chat day on the 21st of May when Cyril Ramaphosa took his dog and pony show to the Oval Office and lied to the President of the United States, and then the South African press covered up for the South African debacle. Yeah, so that was a massive Super Chat day, which drove me to the highest earning revenue month ever in May 2025 in 6 years of this program on both channels or all the channels. So yeah, you're gonna be hard pressed to beat that. But traditionally, because it's my birthday, people are very generous and they bring super chats on Christmas Day. Yeah. Delmarie says that is true. Caring and kindness. Bless you. You're very welcome. Freaked out today. I had my first interaction with state police by being stupid. Well, you're stupid. Okay, I don't know if you want to talk about it. Let me tell you things about being stupid. Okay, not signaling. Not stopping properly, speeding. Those are 3 stupid things that get you in trouble. Another is not having documentation in your glove box or glove compartment, whichever you prefer to call it, that has your registration, your insurance. Not having your driver's license on you. That's even dumber. And being obstinate with the police. The police can be rude to you all day long. You just have to put up with it. So, for instance, I was famously pulled over in upstate New York going up to Niagara Falls a few years back when I was still serving the Army. And the copper, I left Pavilion, New York, and was driving out of town where it's 35 miles an hour. And as you get halfway up this slow grade to go up a hill, it raises to 55. Well, I hit the accelerator to get up and crested a hill, and I had set it for cruise control just as I hit 55. Crested the hill, came over. I looked down at my speedometer, and a little bit, a few hundred meters down the hill, I was going about 57, 58. So I tapped on the brakes just to get back to 55 because cruise control wasn't slowing me down. I was on a state route, not a major interstate, and I saw a cop coming the other way. There was a dip where the road dipped, and he went down a little bit, and he popped back up. I had a robot a little ways in front of me at a four-way intersection. There's a little petrol station sitting there. It's all rural. I looked in my rearview mirror, and I saw the cop whip around and turn his lights on the cornfield. He just almost flipped the car over, turning around. I'm like, damn, he must have got a call. What's going on? And as I slow down for the robot, it turns red. He pulls up behind me with the lights on his siren, and I'm like, he's like, woo, woo. So I pulled in the petrol station. He came up, and my car had a Maryland license plate registration. My driver's license was from Ohio, and my insurance is based in Texas. Now, normally you're not allowed to do that. Normally you have to have everything from the same place. You have to have a car registered in the state you live in. But as an active military person, that does not apply. As an active military person, I'm not obliged by that. I can have those things in any state because that's just the way things work. The car had been purchased in Maryland, and I just kept renewing it in Maryland. I had an address there. The driver's license from Ohio because I came in the Army from Ohio, and that's where I renewed it all the time. And my insurance is from a nationwide company, USA, that's based in Texas. But the insurance policy was issued in Pennsylvania. So the insurance policy issued in Pennsylvania, the driver's license in Maryland, the car license in Maryland, the driver's license in Pennsylvania, yes, in Ohio, and the insurance in Pennsylvania. So the cop came up, and usually if you get pulled over, you have to go this whole rigmarole. Why do you have all this? Why explain it? So rather than go through all that, I politely pulled out my driver's license. I had my registration, my insurance in my hand, and I have my ID. It says identification, driver's license. So I gave him identification and driver's license. He looked at my military ID card, which I handed to him. It's not this one. It's a different one. It's a little thicker. He took it, and he just threw it back in my lap like that. Just tossed it back. Very rude and disrespectful. I didn't say anything. And then I guess he just must have assumed I thought I was military. I was trying to get out of a license, but no, I was just trying to explain things to him. So then he came back and he asked the stupid questions anyway. Why is your driver's license here and your registration's there? I said, because I'm active military. I offered you my identification card. You threw it back in my lap. Anyway, he issued me a ticket for going 80 in a 55. GPS data in my car will refute that. Anyway, I went and I guess they figured since it's Maryland plates and assumed I lived in Maryland that it was too far a drive and I wouldn't come back and refute it. But I did. I got off from work in uniform. I drove up there, the 6-hour drive up there, and I went to the court. I talked to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor almost became my defense attorney. Went over and all the court costs were dismissed. The case was dismissed, and I won the case. But yeah, you got to be careful. Law enforcement have a difficult job, and some of them real jerks, but not all of them are. Dirk, you deleted your message. I didn't get to see it. If you're a woman, just show your cleavage. No, I'm just kidding. What was Newsroom Africa? What did Heidi say? I hate this when I can't find people's comments. I want to see what Heidi said. I don't see anything from Heidi. I'm looking for it. Yeah, no, it's my Christmas. Christmas is my birthday. Even on more stupid car, I was on my way to my treatment and saw everybody going left and seeing a state trooper, another car next to the right side of the car. You didn't pull over so that because it's like Pennsylvania has a law now. You have to get over to the overtaking lane so you don't hit the cops. Oh, it is complicated. Yep, and that's why I did it. Well, it's not weird. You have to remember the states are sovereign. Every state has its own driver's license. See, you guys live in a communist society in South Africa where this national government controls everything. The Germans, same thing. Brits, the same thing. No, we are a union, like Switzerland, a confederation. We are a union of sovereign states. And people forget that because the federal government's become so powerful. People need to realize that you're not allowed to drive a car if it doesn't have insurance or registration. You know, it's not like South Africa where it's a Wild West. Exactly. Does anyone know how Maze is doing? Maze has been in and out. She's doing okay. No, that's the narrative they're starting. It's like America with affordability and the Democrats. It's a fake narrative. Now the South African media are trying this fake narrative. It's Christmas time, and these are expat South Africans who live in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, going home to see families. So they're going to lie to you and tell you, oh, they're returning. But show me the play. Also, they're also falsely attributing internationals from the UK and from the US who are buying up property, despite the crime in the Western Cape, and saying that's what's going on. I didn't see that in Newsroom Africa. It's total bullshit. Total bullshit. Did they offer any evidence or any statistics? Do they? If you're telling me the number of South Africans on a flight returning South Africa Day is your basis for saying they're returning South Africa, that's just nonsense. You need to show me the number of leases that were signed, the properties were purchased, the jobs that have been acquired by South Africans returning, and tell me where they're returning from and how long they were abroad before I start to believe that nonsense. Anyway, so Fonza, North Pole. Colorado is far from the North Pole. All right, so yeah, so there's that. So I've dealt with a couple people asylum, someone living in Vietnam who's trapped. I've also had people in Thailand who've been trapped who've contacted for. Correct. You're correct, Delmer. Each state has their rules and regulations, but there is reciprocity. My driver's license is valid in all 50 states and all territories. They have to accept it, no matter what state it's issued in. But the thing is, when I was in my youth, people would get drunk and driving things all the time, and they weren't that serious about taking license away back in the 60s and 70s because it was a social norm. It was dangerous, but a social norm. So people would get driver's license in multiple states, and then they get pulled over. They'd show this driver's license. If it got suspended, they have another driver's license. But you can't do that very effectively now because they're all linked. They were all linked by databases, and you have to surrender a driver's license. So when I was living in Pennsylvania as an active duty Army officer, I had a Ohio driver's license, which I'd had since the 1980s. That driver's license, I renewed it every 4 years, which was a pain because I had to go back to Ohio to do it. So it cost me money. I always had to go to Ohio every 4 years. But Ohio had an interesting law that you don't have to do that. Ohio, if you're issued driver's license, say I've been issued driver's license in 1981, I'm in the Army until 2019, I never have to renew that driver's license as per the state law in Ohio until I return to Ohio. That's pretty cool. And that's great for Ohio. So I get pulled over by a trooper in Ohio and I'm going to visit family and it's from 1986 that expired and it's 2015. The cop can't do anything. All I have to do is show my military ID card and he goes, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. That's still valid until you move back to Ohio. But try getting a rental car in Frankfurt or in Cape Town or in Paris with a driver's license that says expired in 1986. It doesn't work. So I always had to get a new driver's license. I'm always renting cars. Yeah. So anyway, plus other states don't have the same law, so they may not recognize it. So they may pull you over, arrest you for driving without a license, something like that, and then you have to go through rigmarole, hire a lawyer, and then you find out that there was no basis to charge you. So I just had to get a new driver's license every 4 years. Yeah. So I had a driver's license from Ohio, but then when I retired, I'm now legally a resident of Pennsylvania, and I had to convert that to a Pennsylvania license. But I scheduled something within 30 days. I was in there and out of there in less than 20 minutes, got registered to vote, all taken care of, no muss, no fuss. Yep. Department of Labor stating that they are going to use 1950 race classification law. Yeah, I know. I saw that. I need to learn more about that. I saw that come out, and I'm like, what? So they keep complaining about the problem is that the reason why the economy is so bad is because colonialism and apartheid, and the ANC just wants to use apartheid laws. You just can't believe these people. You just can't believe them. Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorted. That's all sorted. No problem. Yeah. Yes, Pennsylvania Dutch, except they're not Dutch really far away. That's a misnomer. The Pennsylvania Dutch are not even remotely Dutch. There's no Dutch lineage in them whatsoever. The German word for German is Deutsch, D-E-U-T-S-C-H, Deutsch. And the Anglophones were dumb, and they called them Dutch. So they're called Pennsylvania Dutch. It just stuck, but they're actually German. Yep. No Dutch. The Dutch settled in New Amsterdam, which became New York, and a few in Delaware. And they went up the Hudson Valley. Lots of Dutch there. So Van Scoyens and lots of names like that. My ancestors were Dutch. They settled New Amsterdam. Yep. In fact, the oldest building in the state of New York, the oldest building, is the Wyckoff family house, which is located in Brooklyn, surrounded by razor wire and junkyards in New Haiti. But it wasn't New Haiti. It was Dutch for centuries. That went to crap. But the Wyckoff House is the oldest physical man-made structure in the state of New York, built in the 17th century, early 1600s. Okay, really far away, changed to Pennsylvania German. Yeah, but they're called Pennsylvania Dutch, so you can do that if you want, but the Dutch flag isn't appropriate. You can use a German flag for it. Anyway, but yeah, so, and there wasn't even a Germany when they all came over here. It was, it was Brandenburg and Mecklenburg and Vorpommern and Schlesien and, Hesse and, Darmstadt, Hesse, all these different places, little micro-states. I learned my lesson. I will follow whatever the other road users are doing going forward. If they move to the left, then it's going over left. Well, no. Well, you probably have a law in Idaho. I don't know if you got a citation. Maybe, hopefully you explain to them, But in Pennsylvania, they passed a law a couple years ago that if you must get over, and the reason is because people kept hitting cops. They weren't paying attention. They ran over police officers. It's dangerous. So Idaho may have the same law. I don't know. Trams are way easier. Well, yeah, but not if they're cutting your throats like they do in North Carolina. Very scientific way to classify racial groups, especially when it comes to mixed races. The NC went to copy and paste it because it works in their favor. Exactly, Dirk. You're correct. Think the 1984 law is to see how many white people are still in South Africa and to cause crap for us. Possibly. Wisconsin does have a lot of Dutch who settled. That's correct. Also, Wisconsin, ironically, has Icelanders. Let me find this. The largest concentration of Icelanders in the 1980s, I don't know if it's still true, was on an island in Wisconsin. Let me find that island. I don't remember the name of it. I know this because I study cultural geography. I love cultural geography. Cultural geography rocks. So, Wisconsin, where's that? Let me see if I can't find the island I'm looking for. Icelanders in Wisconsin. Milwaukee was the center of all Atlantic immigration to the United States. Some of the first arrived in 1870. See, I remember this from 40 years ago. Yep. Yeah, others located from Milwaukee to Washington Island in Door County. Yep. The oldest Icelandic settlement in the country. By 1924, 10% of the nation's Icelanders lived in northernmost Door County. Yep. So let me find that. Yeah, there it is. Washington Island. That's the one. Yep. That's the one. Yep. So I'll show you that. That's what I thought it was. Okay, so Washington Island. So this is where Icelanders. A very small number of people, but they went to Wisconsin. There's Chicago. There's Milwaukee, Madison, Green Bay, and you come up here, and that's right there, Washington Island, right there. That's where the Icelanders settled, starting in the 1870s. Washington Island. Yep. 10% of all the Icelanders lived in America, which is probably only a couple thousand, lived in that one location. How cool is that? How cool is that? Interesting to learn things like that, huh? A cornucopia of trivial information. Just a warning, he's a nice guy. Let my driver's license fall on the passenger side and offered to pick it up for me if I open the door for him. Yeah, there you go. See, that was nice. Yep. Danica, where's Danica in here? Danica says, we landed on the 4th December in Newark, group of 21, all embarked in different locations. Woodruff, South Carolina. Well, thanks for sharing that, Danica. How come you haven't come on as an interview? When are you coming on, Danica? When are you coming on? No pressure. No, I haven't had the Frappuccino yet. Is Arctic here? Arctic hasn't been showing up, so I haven't been drinking the Frappuccino. It's now been several days. It was the 4th, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 days, and we're almost 6 days in since I haven't had a Frappuccino since I've been allowed to have one. I'm still trying to figure out how Arctic's point is that my hip is messed up because of the Frappuccinos, the sugar. It doesn't make any sense. Sugar doesn't destroy labrum. It doesn't destroy cartilage. Cartilage is destroyed by trauma. Which state do you think has the most concentrated French descent? Well, there's a lot of French descent in Maine, Louisiana, and also I think northern Vermont has a fair number of folks that have that too. Yeah, so yeah, that's the case. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. I was looking for my reading glasses. They're right there. Because I went to the Veterans Organization earlier just to see how things are going, make sure the place wasn't burned down. Yeah, so Danica, you're welcome to come on the program. You can reach out to me. If you're not comfortable, that's fine. But the more interviews we do with people, the more we dispute their nonsense that's going on here. The numbers are coming up. So that was 21 people that went to Newark. All right. We also had a flight that went to Atlanta the same day. Sounds like a person itching to share. Well, Dirk, I agree. It sounds like she's itching to share experience. That's why I invited her on and chastised her a little bit there. JJ Kruger. Minnesota is nice. Minnesota used to be nice until it was flooded with people from all over the world who don't share the values of Minnesotans. And the Minnesotans who took control became socialist and leftist lunatics like the Minnesota Worker, Farmers, whatever the hell it is, party. Yeah, no, Minnesota, nice place to visit. I wouldn't want to live there. Shawnee lives there, so more power to her. Yeah. Who can turn the world on with her smile? Who can take a nothing day, suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. With each step and every little movement, you show it. Love is all around, no need to. You might just make it after all. Mary Tyler Moore. Here in Vermont, we have a lot of French heritage. Yeah, this was getting Northern Vermont. Yep. 50% colonial British, 50% French. Now, the French Canadians, a lot of them fled British rule, and we also had them that were removed by the British authorities, the so-called Cajuns, the Acadians. The name Cajun comes from the Acadians. They lived in Acadia, and they were removed from there, and many of them settled in Louisiana. So you have that impact there because it was a French colony. No, Dogzilla's not here. No, I already checked. Do an @ symbol, look for a dog. You'll say he's not here. I checked when we started. 27% of the CNF members are fit to perform duty. That's actually higher than I expected. Higher than I expected. Yep. So nice to see President Trump putting U.S. farmers first. Yeah, well, George, we're going to have a different opinion there. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't like subsidies, so I'm not a fan of that. I believe in the free market. I appreciate why it's being done, but also the nonsense these farmers have lost billions, I don't buy that because the soybeans are not harvested until they're dried, and then they're stored in elevators and granaries. They weren't harvested until October, November. So how many billions of dollars have they lost? So we're piling on billions of subsidies for farmers who just harvested their soybeans days, weeks ago, and we're being told they can't sell it. So probably what they had in storage they couldn't sell, and now they've got a backlog. So having lost the money, short term, yes, but anyway, so. But yeah, your mortgage payments don't stop. Your debt for the land, your debt for the seed, your debt for the tractors, and all the things don't stop. So you probably need consistent revenue. But my point is that not a fan of subsidies. Not a fan. 40% French. My name is French, and I've been in the family for centuries. Too much sugar makes our blood sticky, less effective when healing. Our blood also carries less oxygen when we take in too much sugar and wrong fats. Yeah, but what does that have to do with the torn labrum? The labrum is torn. The blood has nothing to do with repairing it. You can't repair bone on bone. So not having sugar is not going to have any effect on that. Anytime you subsidy handouts, you destroy the free market. The economy needs winners and losers in order to succeed. Exactly. Oh, he said the sugar causes inflammation. I've never heard that before. The inflammation is caused not by sugar. It's caused by, I don't have inflammation elsewhere in my body. It's caused by the cartilage being destroyed. Chris Ehlers was on Bianca von Wyk. Are you serious? Or he was probably just giving her a hard time. What, did she have a live? Well, my 17th great uncle and his brother came to America in 1621. That's when we arrived. The voodoo swamp French. Yep, he was, and she did. Well, what happened? What did Chris Ehlers have to say? I haven't seen that EU is threatening. Well, so the European Union is threatening us, huh? Well, that's an act of war. That was the Japanese basis for bombing Pearl Harbor. We shut off oil and steel exports to Japan, and that was their basis to argue that they had to attack us because we stopped oil exports. So if the EU wants to threaten us, that they want to call up, first off, the EU doesn't have $2.4 trillion in bonds. First off, those bonds are owned by different countries, especially Germany and the UK. Let me look at total debt currently held. China was now second. It's Japan at number one again. Okay, let's see. Give me. All right, so December 2024, top 10 foreign holders. Japan, 1 trillion. Mainland China, 759 billion. United Kingdom, 722 billion. Luxembourg, 400 billion. So that's 1.5 trillion there. Belgium, 300 million. 1.8 trillion. Ireland, 300 billion. 2.1 trillion. And France. And so there's your 2.4. So basically the threat is coming from United Kingdom. Germany's not even in there. Germany used to be a top one now. Cayman Islands, that's because people relocated cash. But basically, United Kingdom, Belgium, Ireland, and France. So are they threatening us? Those 4 countries? I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, the EU seems to get very forget quickly who their best friend has been for the past century. Yeah, they would all be speaking Russian and be half Asian if it wasn't for us, or be speaking German. Yep. Yeah, the Afrikaners have a lot of French background. Family dating all the way back 1630s were probably related. It's possibly Faithful Farmer. I have Dutch ancestors who found in New Amsterdam. I also have Mayflower ancestors. So I mean, I'm the OG in all those things. Yep. Yep. So let them go ahead and try this. Let them try this. Total foreign debt is only 9 trillion. Well, we owe 38 trillion. So, that's a fraction. So if European Union wants to try to commit an act of war by threatening us, by crawling debt, do you know what we do? We just refuse to pay it. That'll have a devastating impact on the global economy. But if they want to wreck the global economy by calling in bonds, the U.S. has, good luck. But they can't call the bonds in. The bonds aren't callable. Okay? So let me show you what they can do. All they can do is flood the market and sell them. And do you know what they'll do when they flood the market and sell them? They'll drive the price down. And you know what happens when the price goes down? The yield goes up. So let the European Union, let France, let Belgium, let the UK, let Ireland, let them threaten us with 2.34 trillion of debt that they can't recall it. It doesn't work that way. Treasury notes and treasury bonds. I know because I used to buy them. I have an account to buy treasury notes and treasury bonds. You can buy them. They have a maturity date. So go ahead and flood the market, put them on the market, drive the price down, drive the yield up, and I'll buy as much as I can afford, and I'll just make money till kingdom come. Most debt is in the hands of Americans. 68% of all our debt is in the hands of Americans. We hold it all. American insurance companies, American retirement funds, American individuals, American banks, we own the debt. So let these foreigners try to threaten us. See how well that goes for you. You can piss in one hand, you can crap in the other. See which one comes out better. Neither. USA has assisted a lot of countries and lost a lot of their own good men doing so. Yeah. Yep. Stephen Orkey is leaving. Where's Stephen going? Okay, have a good day. Your statistical data now is on par. Well, thank you. Varoshka's leaving too. Everybody's off to work. Subsidies aside, Trump stated more than once in the meeting how important farmers are to the USA. That's true. That's true. That's George. That's right. Farmers are important. It's good that he backs the farmers. He supports them. I just don't like subsidies. I don't have diabetes, Rudolph Skeppers. Don't have diabetes. But yes, your point is if someone has diabetes, it's what slows the healing, not the anti-inflammatories. It's more the diabetes. Yep. Your body's fighting. It's struggling to be healthy when you have diabetes. Yep. U.S. investment banks hold close to 20% of South Africa. If Trump puts a limit on that, then that would be really bad. Oh, that's another point. Yeah. Well, we also just sponsored a $1.4 billion World Bank loan for South Africa. We can pull that out. We're the largest shareholder in the IMF and the World Bank, both of which are headquartered right across the street, down the street from the White House. So if the South Africans want to play stupid, we can really be hard on it. So I've said, if the United States wants to hurt South Africa, it can, but it hasn't tried to hurt South Africa. Ukrainians fighting off MP, forcing, probably dragging them into uniform. In the interview, President Trump called as is. He rattled off the countries that have fallen. He hates what is happening. The gem was exposed on London and UK spicy loading. I'm not sure, Xavier, what you're talking about. What interview was that? All right, so let's watch a little bit of the Trumpster here in action, okay? Before I do that, let me see what news I had pulled up here. Yeah, I can save this for the morning, most of this. Yeah, it was Greta Montasha, not Paul Mashatile. I said Paul Mashatile is one, said it was too old, but it's Greta Montasha. Wait, is this the news from earlier? Yeah, this is the news from earlier. Get rid of that. Okay, that's not the one I was looking for. Where's the news that I pulled up tonight? There it is. Okay, silly me. South Africa dishing out foreign aid. That's a good one. Let's talk about that. It's going to be difficult here now. Wait a second. Is that supposed to zoom? Oh, that is a zoom window. Okay, hang on a second. There we go. My camera's frozen. That's interesting. There we go. Okay, my camera's no longer frozen. There you go. South Africa dishing out millions in foreign aid to neighbors and allies. Yep, just giving money away. $70 million to South Sudan, $41 million to Zimbabwe, $140 million to Cuba, and $50 million to war-torn Palestine. Meanwhile, South Africans are going hungry. Let's tune in to the Trumpster who was in the Poconos today. Hang on a second. Let me jump ahead here. Okay, let's get this up. Trump was potty mouth big time. He was going at it, man. Trump was going at it. So at this speech in Pennsylvania, he's like used the biatch word. He used bullshit. He said all kinds of stuff. Crap hole
gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
I got to turn that off or I'll get a copyright claim on that. There's Trump being welcomed in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. The Trumpster. Hey, they just really hate that this guy's so successful. It really, really bothers them. Truly, truly bothers them. Drives them nuts. Oh, we can't hear Trump's anyway. Yeah, he is a Trump. Just keeps on. He is the gift that keeps on giving. He is very anti-establishment, but not everything he does and says we agree with. Tonight he could have laid off some of the potty mouth, but it was hilarious. It was less a president, more an entertainer. Look, he's starting to get bald in the back there, but he is 80 years old, so understandable. But the Trumpster in Pennsylvania earlier this evening. By the way, people keep telling me to take it easy. I finally took a nap. I was knackered from 1:30 this afternoon until about 6. I napped. And then I woke up and turned this on after he started, so I caught this. So, the Trumpster. What do you do? Is that? Let me see. Is that the Village People? No, it's not the Village People. It's still Lee Greenwood. I've seen Lee Greenwood sing that song, perform it at Harrisburg at the Senators baseball game. Yep. Trump was just epic today. He was just going off. Get rid of that closed caption. It's kind of annoying. So. Yep, bigger paychecks. People were pretty chuffed at this event. It was pretty wild. What's to do with a neck tattoo, man? What is up with that? I don't get that. That looks stupid. Yeah, they're jealous of success, so you're correct about that. And they also lie about who he is and what he does. I still get the whole thing about him being a racist and misogynist be comical. The guy's done more for women and people of color than any president in history. No doubt about it. And more for kids. And more to end crimes. They've found 62,000 children trafficked in this country by the Biden regime for sexual slavery and labor, and have rescued 62,000 and 300,000 that they lost. And of course, they accused Trump of putting kids in cages, but that was an Obama era creation, and they lied about Trump on that. Remember that? Oh, for Ilhan Omar, they started shouting, "Send her back! Send her back! Send her back!" Persians for Trump in the background. The guy with the fist going up in the air.
Well, this is a nice crowd. You got a lot of people. You've got a lot of people standing outside tonight. It's freezing.
Oh, Danica's available. Send me an email, Danica.
In the morning or something. Well, I'm worried about them. Would anybody like to give up your place?
Well, Xavier, I also have slept no more than 2 hours for the past 2 weeks straight. So, there's a cumulative effect, and you got to know when to recharge your batteries. This is the one day I could do it. Tomorrow's a full day for me. Thursday's a full day. I got a refugee interview, and Friday I've got travel. So I'll be busy Saturday with rugby, and so I won't get any sleep until next week. So I had to and today was the time to do it.
Let some people come in from the cold. You go out to the cold. I don't think so. I just want to say hello, Pennsylvania, and I'm thrilled to be back. In this incredible Commonwealth with so many proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. So am I. I'm a proud hard worker. I'm a proud patriot, but you're a proud patriot. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great reception. We're on to expose what happened recently when we took over. It's 10 months. And already we have the largest investment ever made in the history of not our country,
20 trillion
of any country
in history,
anywhere in the world. Think of that.
In 10 months, yep.
But let me begin by wishing each and every one of you
Tariffs
a very
made that
Merry
possible.
Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that stuff. Remember when I started in 2015, I made my first speech, and I said, we're going to bring back Christmas. Remember, the radical left wanted to get rid of the word Christmas. I said, I don't think that's going to work out. And we did it, and now everybody's saying Merry Christmas again.
I never stopped.
But just over 1 year ago today, with your help, we saved America. That's what
And the world.
saved. In the most important election victory possibly in the history of our country was going down. We were a country that was being scoffed at, laughed at.
Hey,
all over
Lily.
the world. We won all 7. Thank you, Charlie.
Lily, a couple of people came on my chat today and asked if we could do a segment where you come on my program on a regular basis. I'm not trying to corner you. Is that something that interests you? Because that was presented to me. We could do it maybe once a week or something like. It doesn't have to be an hour. It can be a shorter one. But anyway, just people are asking for it, and then we can talk about people who are telling you the groups, and I can answer questions that people sent to you that aren't sending me directly. I mean, Lily, it's up to you. Just let me know. I'll make, because my Fireside with the Colonels is kind of dormant right now because Vaynant and I are both busy. My Answer the Question with Rob Hutchison died because Rob went quiet. My Bry Brews with Byron went on hiatus, and so I don't really have any segments right now that I'm doing. So, and of course, the one I did with Dumo has kind of gone silent too.
She said, and you saved us. Who are you? Stand up, please. Who said that? I love her. Only in Pennsylvania can this happen. I know this state. By the way, last election, did we kick ass?
Look at that. He says ass. It gets worse.
We won 3 times in a row, as you know. But we won all 7 swing states. We won the Electoral College, 312 to 226. We won, and by the way, the real vote was much more than this, but we wanted to make it too big to rig. We won the popular vote for the first time of any Republican in many decades, and we won 86% of all counties in America.
Yeah.
2,700 to 525.
Yep.
That's good. We did it. Not me, we did it. And now, after just 10 months in office, I'm pleased to report that America is winning again, Pennsylvania is prospering again, and I will not rest until this Commonwealth is wealthier and stronger than ever before. Remember when Biden got up and called you a state? That was not good. He said, it's great to be back in this state. Where are we? Where are we? What state is it? It's Pennsylvania. Oh, okay. Now, we're respected again as a country. We're respected.
Not by the ANC.
Since my inauguration, we've created nearly 60,000 new Pennsylvania jobs, including 4,000 Pennsylvania manufacturing jobs that the Democrats gave up on.
Good evening, beautiful people, says Lily.
Under our leadership, more than 40,000 Pennsylvanians have been lifted off of food stamps. 40,000. And working with a great guy. Remember
Dave McCormick.
He
Yep.
used to go to
I know Dave McCormick personally. He's our state senator now.
every rally I had, he knew what was happening. And he's here again, as usual. I can't get rid of this guy. Where is he? He got a little lucky, though. You know, in Butler, a place called Butler, Pennsylvania. I love Butler, Pennsylvania, but it was amazing. And we had a tremendous crowd, like 55, 60,000 people. And then I called David. I said, David, come on up. He was working like hell to get elected. It was a tough race. And very few people could have done what he did. But I said, right at the beginning of the speech, I said, David, come on up. Come on up. I want to. This was before the thing happened. And then I looked up and said, you know what, David? Just stay there. I'll get you later. You're so lucky, David. You're so lucky you don't know. I could have had a little differently shaped ear if it weren't for you. You know, you got very lucky that day. People don't talk about that, but I remember I called him up and I said, just stay there. Because he was walking a little bit slowly. I didn't want to take the time. You know, oh boy, that was a good day for you.
He needed a swear jar tonight.
He's really a great guy, and his wife, Dina, is fantastic. Thank you. Stand up, David. He's a lucky man. Working with Senator David McCormick, we've secured commitments for nearly $100 billion of investments in Pennsylvania. We were up here a few months ago. Some of the greatest energy companies in the world made that. We were doing it on a beautiful day. A little warmer than it is outside today, David. But over 100.
Okay, I got to pause for a second. Right behind that super chat, that lady with the glasses on. Is that Bianca? Did she fly to Pennsylvania for this rally? I swear that looks like Bianca. Look at that lady. Looks just like Bianca, doesn't it? Hey, Debbie, thank you for 350 Rand super chat. The clouds are gathering in Pennsylvania. They really were with Trump earlier. But she looks a lot like Bianca, man.
$1 billion, and we've saved a great American company. You know, we saved, this little group of people and me, saved a little company called U.S. Steel.
Yep.
And it's hot as a pistol now. And we have the keys to the company. It's always going to be here. It's never moving. They said, what happens if it moves to Japan? I said, you can't move a steel mill to Japan. You can move a headquarters, but the steel mill stays here. That's all that matters. And I will tell you, the company is spending billions and billions of dollars, and there was no second by comparison. Other companies were interested, and they really are. They call me all the time, tell me they're really excited about it. And, you know, they're building a lot of additional plants.
Thank you, Tinky Keezer.
It's turning out to be beyond what anyone thought possible, but we had to save U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel was one of the greatest companies, which really, for a long period of time, years ago, the greatest company anywhere in the world. U.S. Steel, you see it with the big factories that were, 2 years ago. Now it's starting to fill up. The tariffs have filled it up because people are coming here. Other steel companies are coming to Pennsylvania now because of they don't want to spend 100%, 50%, 25% on tariffs are all coming in. It's amazing, you know, the word, remember when I said tariff? My favorite word is tariff. True, but then I got a lot of heat from the fake news. Look at all of them back there. I took a lot of heat. I got up early on. I said my favorite, it's turning out, you know, tariffs are bringing us hundreds of billions of dollars. I just helped our farmers out because they're starting to do really well. But in order to try and negotiate, some countries played a little cute, and we just gave them, right out of a tariff money, cost us nothing, right out of the hundreds of billions that we've taken in, we gave the farmers a little help, $12 billion, and they are so happy. And all they want is a level playing field, and now it's happening, and the tariffs are making them rich. It's going to be, you're going to.
Oh, come on, Lily. It's not chilly in Texas. It's below zero here. It's not even close to that in Texas. Come on.
You're going to see what happens over the next 2 years. It's like a miracle is taking place. But we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, really trillions, Scott. We have the great Scott Bassett. Scott, stand up.
Treasury Secretary, openly gay.
And
not that it matters, but they say Trump hates gays.
To that, all of the companies that are pouring their money to building plants in Pennsylvania and many other states, auto plants, AI plants, plants of every type, which we would have never had if we didn't put the tariffs on. Did you see where Europe now is saying, I think we got to start doing what Trump is doing?
Ironically, though, tariff plants, AI plants, steel plants, but no garden plants.
We've got to start putting on tariffs because we're getting our ass.
I thought she was talking about the temperature.
Is kicked, and it's true. But Scott, if you really think about it, it's trillions of dollars, not billions of dollars, right? So it's amazing. It's the smart people understand it. Other people are starting to learn, but the smart people really understand it. 1 year ago, under Sleepy Joe Biden, have you heard of him? You know, okay, look, the King of Saudi Arabia told me this. He said, sir, 1 year ago, I was in Saudi Arabia. Somebody complained that I was making a foreign trip. I went to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE. I brought back $4 trillion. They said, he shouldn't be traveling. He should focus on home. What the hell do you think I'm doing? And 250 Boeing jets. I brought back so much everything. Then they say, he should, you know, the stupid people, they say, he should be leaving our country. Yeah, let's sit around and twiddle our thumbs. It's, no, it's sort of crazy, right? But 1 year ago, the King of Saudi Arabia said it. He said, sir, 1 year ago, you were a dead country. Dead. They were focusing on China. They were looking for
Russia.
You know, who's next on line, frankly. And he's a good man. And the Emir of Qatar said it. UAE said it. The big company, the big smart country said it. We were a dead country 1 year ago. We were dead as a doornail. We were going down the tubes. And now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's nobody close.
Rudolph, they weren't booing President Trump. They were booing Joe Biden. He mentioned Joe Biden, and they started booing when he said Biden. Yeah, no, a year ago, the United States was dead man walking.
And it's because of the election on November 5th, because that's when it started. You see what's happening with recruitment in the military. The enrollment is the highest we've ever had. And you know, right before November 5th, we couldn't get anybody in the military. We couldn't get police. We couldn't get firemen. We couldn't get anybody. And after November 5th, that's when it started. Right now, we have the highest enrollment we've ever had, the greatest recruitment days we've ever had in the military. It's amazing. So it's November 5th, and it's also, again, it's a thing called tariffs. And I told you, I was about to say that, you know, because I love the weave. The weave. You know what the weave is? Go here, bing, 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 bing. You always have to get back to the right location. But otherwise, they'll criticize you.
Well, they'll criticize you anyway.
Straying from the speech. By the way, if I read what's on the teleprompter, you'd all be falling asleep right now. But it's true, 1 year ago, and during periods of time, I'd say my favorite word is the word tariff. I love it more than any other word in the dictionary. And the fake news said, that's terrible. What about God? What about family? What about religion? What about your sons, your daughters? What about how terrible that's this? So I moved it back to 5th. I have it to 5th, and now I'm in no trouble with the fake news, you know? They said, what about religion? They always find, so you have to weave a little bit with the punches. You have to go, you know, the boxers, you got to go with the punches. But it's been amazing what's happened. It's been amazing. It's a transformation of our country. I have the greatest oil man anywhere in the world. I see him sitting right there, Chris Wyatt. I was going to put a man, Doug Burgum, he's great. He's interior. And I said, Doug, I want you to go to Energy. You're really fantastic. And Energy came from North Dakota. Big fracking place. State. Done really a great job. He was a great governor, I would say, right? Really great. And a great person. He's doing a fantastic job. I said, I want you to head up Energy. Sir, I'd be good, but I'll tell you, there's one man out there. In the whole world, there's one man out there who would be better than me. Who is it? A man named Chris Wright. Who the hell is Chris Wright? Give me a break. I never heard of the guy. Well, you never heard. He's the biggest there is. He's the smartest there is. The greatest oil man in the world. Chris Wright. I said, I got to see this guy. And after about 2 minutes, I understood exactly what Doug was saying. So I said, okay, Doug, you'll go to Interior. You work with, because interestingly, Interior owns all the land that has the oil.
Right. All the federal land.
He has all the expertise that
to extract
the
it.
oil. And I said, you know, we'll do a friendly merger here. This is pretty good. And that's what we did. And we're right now drilling more oil than we've ever done ever before. Prices are way down. We just had 4 states. It was just reported that 4 states had $1.99 a gallon. Right? We're so
Energy is everything. Without energy, or safe, reliable, affordable energy,
So
you
I
can't
want to,
do anything.
I want to introduce Chris Wyatt. Stand up, Chris.
Trump's far from the first person to say that. I wrote that in papers for the past 3 decades.
Who would think, you look at him, he's a nice looking guy and all that. Who would think he's rated, I mean, he's the most talented oil guy. He can put his
Notice how
nose
Trump
in
is
the ground
always
to
promoting
tell you
other
whether or
people.
not there's oil. Other people have to spend billions of dollars on machinery and equipment, and it doesn't work.
Rebel
So I
refugee.
wanna
Most of my
thank you
audience
for a
aren't
great job.
refugees.
And it's
So
true, we are right now, energy overall, not only the oil and gas, we are right now involved in more energy and have more energy in the works by far than we've ever had before. Is that right? Yeah, not even close. Yeah. And I have no higher priority than making America affordable again. That's what we're going to do. And again, they caused the high prices and we're bringing them down. It's a simple.
blaming us for it.
If I had one message tonight, you know, this is being covered like all over the world. This is crazy because I haven't made a speech in a little while. You know, when you win, you say, oh, I can now rest. So, Susie Trump, do you know Susie?
Danielle, or Danica, excuse me, Danica. Yeah, absolutely. Send me a note so I've got contact to reach out to you and we'll set something up. I've got someone on Thursday. Otherwise, we do it on Thursday. And now people have asked for the segment to do with Lily and I to do a collab on my channel. So I've got to sort something out with that. Yeah, so maybe next week, Danica. I look forward to it. I have to look and see what Sunday. Sunday would be a possibility. That's a good day to do these, but I have to check the games. In fact, let's do that right now before we continue with Trump. Let me check that real quick. I need to go to the games for Sunday. I'll just go to Flow Rugby. That's the quickest way to do it. Flow Rugby schedule. Okay, so Friday is the 12th, so 13th. No games on Friday. Stormers are at 8 o'clock on Saturday. Sharks at 10:15. Lions at 12:30. So Saturday is out, and the Bulls play on Sunday. Yeah, on Sunday we've got also the Cheetahs are playing at 8 o'clock, but I can't watch that game. It's the same one. Okay, so on Sunday the 14th, it's the Bulls at 10:15. So we could do a 9 o'clock on Sunday. If you want to do 9 o'clock on Sunday there, Danica, if that isn't too inconvenient for you, do a refugee chat on Sunday at 9 o'clock. I think that would work because the Bulls in Northampton is 10:15. Gives me time to switch over. So, all right, cool beans.
Trump, sometimes referred to as Susie Wiles, Susie Trump. She's the great chief of staff at the. They don't use the word chief of staff anymore because of the Indians got extremely upset. But now the Indians actually want their name used, which is true. They never didn't want it used. But the chief of staff, and she's fantastic, she said, we have to start campaigning, sir. I said, I won. What do I have to do already? They said, we have to win the midterms, and you're the guy that's going to take us over the midterm. Where's Susie? Susie, come on, Susie. Look at Susie. Susie's the greatest. And who do we see?
No, if I heard Danica correctly, she's in South Carolina. It's the same time zone as me. That's why I said 9:15. Yeah, so Dirk Cootsy's talking about China. China was building 350 coal-fired power plants every year for a decade stretch. I don't know the number now because it's no longer being reported. But they built over 3,500 coal-fired power plants in a decade, and 350 is more than the United States has.
See there? We even brought our superstar today, Caroline. Stand up, Caroline.
Caroline Levitt?
Isn't she great? Is Caroline great?
Somebody started singing Neil Diamond.
You know, when she goes on television, Fox, they dominate. They dominate when she gets up there with that beautiful face and those lips that don't stop, up, like a little machine gun. She's got no fear. You know why?
Not all rugby's on there, but for instance, the test match this year were taken over by Paramount, which by Peacock actually, which was a pain in the ass. And Paramount had the USA Rugby game, so I had to subscribe to that too. $12 a month to watch one game was a ripoff. Most of the RC games and many of the South African Test matches you can find on Flow Rugby, but the way the licensing is done is all screwed up. So, yeah, Flow Rugby is a pretty good deal, except that they've been pretty inconsistent in the past about starting games on time and cutting them off. So it can be frustrating.
She has no fear because we have the right policy. We don't have men in women's sports. We don't have to sell men in women's sports. We don't have to sell transgender to everybody. We don't have to sell open borders where the whole world is allowed to come into our country from prisons and everywhere else. So she's got a little bit easier job. I wouldn't want to be the other side's press secretary, right? Thanks, Carolyn. Great job. We appreciate it. But that's our message. They gave you high prices. They gave you the highest inflation in history, and we're bringing those prices down rapidly. Lower prices, bigger paychecks. You're getting lower prices, bigger paychecks. We're getting inflation. We're crushing it. And you're getting much higher wages. I mean, the only thing that's really going up big, it's called the stock market and your 401ks. That's going up.
Well, mine's doing well, so can't complain about that.
But I say, and I said it the other day, and a lot of people misinterpret it. They say, oh, he doesn't realize prices are high. Prices are coming down very substantially. But they have a new word. They always have a hoax. The new word is affordability. So they look at the camera and they say, this election is all about affordability. Now, they never talk about it. They never talk. Thank you very much. They say I'm not allowed to run. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but that's okay. He said 4 more years. You see the new hat? We have 4 more years. 2028. We have all sorts of...
Wow. Well, that's not going to happen, but still, look at the guy. Look at the guy with the sourpuss behind him with the beard. He looks like some freaking Afghan.
We have 3 years and 2 months to go, and you know what that is in Trump time? 3 years and 2 months is called eternity.
It's called eternity. That's going to drive him nuts.
But under
this is where it gets good.
Real wages plummeted by $3,000 a year. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has already seen their wages increase by more than $1,300
in 10 months.
And that's in just a few months. And for construction workers, it's $1,800 up versus $3,500 down. And I think their number is wrong. It's much lower than that. For miners, do we love miners? I love miners.
there's a hostile takeover bid for it now, so it hasn't been bought out yet.
10,000 feet under the ground, and they wouldn't trade jobs with me. If I gave them a beautiful, magnificent penthouse in the middle of Manhattan, where I used to live, if I gave them the most beautiful penthouse, they wouldn't take it. They'd rather go 10,000 feet underground and dig. That's what they want. For miners, their wages went up $3,300, and we're bringing back coal. But my administration cannot talk about anything else except when they say the word coal, they have to precede the word by 2 words: clean, beautiful. So we only call coal clean, beautiful coal. Is that right, fellas? Because coal needs a little public relations help. It's a very powerful fuel. It's used by China. China makes all our windmills, but they don't have any wind farms. It's a little interesting, isn't it? Wind is the worst. That's a scam. They ruin your valleys. They ruin your peaks. The most expensive energy. The only ones that get rich are the developers who make a fortune. You have to change your windmills. And most of them are made in China, but China has very few wind farms. You know why? Because they're smart. You know what they do have? A lot of coal. They love coal.
Yep.
So that's okay.
I've been saying it for years.
We have clean, beautiful coal, and we brought it back into vogue. We have nuclear, we have oil and gas, we have sort of everything. We don't approve windmills. We don't approve it, I'm sorry. We don't like things that kill all our birds. And that every time you put one up, only the guy that owns it makes a lot of money. Those guys, what a joke. And they are ugly. You're right, sir. But Democrats talking about affordability is like Bonnie and Clyde preaching about public safety. And they are really truly the enemy of the working class when they do it, because we're going to have a great energy policy. You know, our oil prices are coming down very substantial, energy prices. And honestly, with that, everything comes down, because there's nothing nearly in the category of oil. You wouldn't even know what second is. There are seconds and thirds, but it's so far down the list we don't even talk about them. You get energy prices down, which we're doing. Again, the greatest amount of drilling, the greatest amount of fuel being produced right now in our country than ever before, by far. It's not even a contest. And when that happens, those prices come down. That's why you're seeing oil per barrel coming down nicely, very nicely. We don't want to go so rapidly because we want the people that produce it to keep producing it, but they're doing good. But it's amazing. But when energy comes down, your other prices come down too, all of your prices. And that's exactly, we inherited the highest prices ever, and we're bringing them down. We inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. Think of that. And we're bringing them down rapidly. Their entire agenda is about robbing working people to fund their far-left cronies and give lavish benefits to foreign migrants and illegal aliens. You can't do it. Look, we all have a heart. We don't like what's happening. But, you know, when they allow them to come in, we have a border that, by the way, they don't talk about the border. Why don't you talk about the border anymore? The border is, for months, it's closed. Actually, their people, because they're radical left. Their people.
You're in Texas, so after 8 your
You know how
time.
many people
About
came into the
8:30.
border over the last 7 months? You know what it is? Zero. Except for the ones that came in legally, right? Legally. When Biden and congressional Democrats had power, they blew up our economy, sent prices soaring. Look, the poor guy, he didn't know what the hell was happening. Okay, I'm sorry. It wasn't-
My mind's going blank now.
Lunatics that circled, yeah, it was the auto pen, you're right. I can't believe I didn't say that. I hate when you beat me to the punchline. I would not have said. Well, I'll tell you, I'll give the fake news a little breaking news. So I believe, and I may be correct, but we're checking this.
Did you catch that? I'll give the fake news a little breaking news right here. That's hilarious.
No, we have a bad head of the Fed. We're going to be making a change. Fortunately, this guy's out. But we have 4 members appointed by Sleepy Joe Biden. Which is better, Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe?
Sleepy.
Historically, when I've done polls, from people, I do my own polls. I go to a big arena, we have 20,000 people. I say, which you like, Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? And I learned, I save millions of dollars. I don't have to do any polling, okay? Typically, Crooked Joe wins. I'm surprised. Because to me, he's a sleepy son of a bitch. He destroyed our country. If we didn't come along, and it's not me,
Holy
it's all
Trump.
of us. If we didn't come along, this country was destroyed, I'll tell you. It would have been destroyed. But now Democrats in Congress want to take us straight back to the Bidenomics. They don't change. And I don't really talk about it because, for instance, I watched a congressman the other day on a television show. They were interviewing a Democrat. He was fighting like hell for men to play in women's sports, okay? And I was going to put something out. I was going to he's a well-known congressman. And I said, let's save it about 2 weeks before the election, right, David? We don't want to do it now. What the hell good does it do now? Let's save it for about 2 weeks because we don't want them to change. Just let them keep going. I think transgender for all is a great, great thing for the Democrats to be talking about. Transgender for every member in your family, if they're not feeling well.
Small modular reactors,
just
answer for the
change their
future.
sex.
Micro reactors.
No, let's not talk about it. Let them go and let them fight to get these things. I think open borders are great, you know, where prisons are emptied into our country, right? Where people from all over the world being dumped into our country, the people that aren't wanted in their countries, by the way. I think that's a great, like Somalia. Welcome.
Here we go.
Do we have any individuals from Somalia in the group? Please raise your hand.
Not in PA.
That's for Minnesota, you know. That's called the Great Big Minnesota Scam with one of the dumbest governors ever in history.
Tampon Tim.
I love this Ilan Omar, whatever the hell her name is.
Ilyan.
With the little sheen, the little turban.
Jeez, they're gonna go crazy over this.
I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, I mean, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military, they have no nothing, they have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing. They have no police. They police themselves. They kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country, and she's always complaining about the Constitution allows me to do
Wait
this.
for it. Wait for it.
We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother. In order to get in.
There it is.
She married her brother. Can you imagine if Donald Trump married his sister? Beautiful. She's a beautiful person. If I married my sister to get my citizenship, do you think I'd last for about 2 hours, or would it be something less than that?
Xavier Grayling, we don't need Russia or China. We have Westinghouse and General Electric. They can build small modular reactors and microreactors. We have the technology. We don't need pebble bed. That's a South African thing. We don't need that. We have the technology we should have been building for 20 years, but these environmentalists have stopped it, and these idiots in Congress that get millions of dollars in payouts from these corporations to not do it.
She married her brother to get in. Therefore, she's here illegally.
Uh-oh.
She should get the hell out. Throw the hell out. She does nothing but complain.
All she does is bitch. Send her back.
So now, and we have our
Yes, she
savior
did.
in this room. His name is Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent. He's right there. Because that very handsome man, by the way, if you're picking the Secretary of the Treasury, is he like the perfect guy for a movie? He's made for the movie. Stand up, Scott. Look at him. No, he's central casting.
All right, let's put this in context. Scott Bessent is a Treasury Secretary. He's an openly gay man. So I thought Trump hated gays. He's got a bromance going on with Scott Bessent. He's got a bromance going on with his Secretary of Treasury, who's an openly gay man. So these people, their attacks on Trump have no merit, man.
Central casting. But you don't, under that beautiful exterior is a killer. And here's what happened. He is in charge of the investigation of Somalia and the billions of dollars they have robbed from Minnesota, right? I hope you do your job. I hope you're not one of these Republicans where something comes up and they don't do what they should do because they're nicer people. You know, they're much nicer.
Well, Xavier, if the ANC goes, then Westinghouse and General Electric and others could happily build nuclear power plants in South Africa, working with South African technicians, helping both countries out, and it would be safe.
People than the Democrats, but Scott's actually not a nice person at all. So, Scott, you're in charge of that investigation? Okay, I'm not interfering at all. I'm just saying, please do a good job, honest and fair. Right? Honest and fair. Oh, if he's honest and fair, you know what he's going to find? It's great. I'd love to have that job. They may switch jobs with you. I'd love to have that job. They ought to get them the hell out of here. They hate our country. And she hates our country. And her friends hate our country. And AOC hates our country. They all do. And we have a new candidate in the great state of Texas, where I won Texas by more votes than anybody. And you have to understand, I'm being judged by these bad people back there, the fake news. So
That's funny, but the people back there are just cameramen. There's a couple commentators. The cameramen are good people. I know them because I was at CBAG, and the president pointed. I was up on that stage with all the television people with my tripod up there recording his speech, and he said the fake news people. And all the people in the back of the room, they just spluttered. They all turn around to us and are like, hey, guys, we know. It's, I love it.
So anything I say that's slightly off, I get like headlines. Donald Trump exaggerated, or Donald Trump lied. They give me Pinocchios, Washington Post, a Pinocchio. They lie every day.
Yeah.
They give me a Pinocchio. But think of this. If I make even the slightest mistake, what they do is they go after me. Everything I say is correct. We have now a new candidate. I won Texas by the largest vote in the history of Texas 3 times, okay? I love Texas. Just like I love Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Just like I love, honestly, every one of our states. I love all of our states, and we've done so well. I love all of our states. What? By the way, is this a different country now than we had a year and a half ago? Right? What a difference.
We've known about her brother for years. Ilhan Omar.
The fact that we have many, bad people entered our country. Many of them are being taken out. Ultimately, they're all being taken out. Washington, D.C., we had a tragic incident, as you know, with the 2 incredible people. What a terrible thing that was just 2 weeks ago, right? Just a terrible National Guard, terrible thing. Sarah, and then...
So I'm going to pause that there for a few minutes. He just talked about Pennsylvania. Josh Shapiro went out and Politico claims that Josh Shapiro shredded Donald Trump. But let me just talk about the fake governor of this state who has violated Pennsylvania's election law in 2020. Josh Shapiro as the Attorney General, failing to uphold the rule of law. Yeah, this little weasel who is our governor will never be president, but he's trying to get himself in position for it. Shapiro shreds Trump's economy. Donald Trump told Politico his economy gets an A++++, but Josh Shapiro said that does not reflect the reality on the ground. Ahead of President Trump's remarks, the economy in a swing state, northeastern Pennsylvania, tonight, his self-grading of an A+++++ on a key midterm issue is roiling the campaign trail. Pennsylvania Governor Democratic Josh Shapiro said in an exclusive statement to Politico that Trump's remarks delivered during his sit-down with Politico's Dasha Burns for a special episode of The Conversation is out of touch with reality. The president's statement does not reflect the reality on the ground here in the community where many Pennsylvanians voted him in the last election. The record is clear. His policies have hurt our very communities propelled in the White House. Trump's tariffs and economic policies have raised prices at grocery stores, shattered markets for our farmers, hurt our manufacturers, and dramatically increased the costs of living Pennsylvanians. Josh Shapiro is a lying little sack of manure. What has hurt Pennsylvanians is not President Trump's tariffs. In fact, my groceries have not gone up in price for anything since Trump became president. Anything that I purchased, they've remained the same or gone down. So Shapiro's a liar, number one. Number two, he lies about the whole situation. While Biden was president, he never said anything about affordability. He never talked about the prices when he went through 30 and 40% inflation on an annual basis, despite the government reporting just 6 and 7%. They lied. Also, the reason why Pennsylvania is unaffordable is because you scumbags in Harrisburg and your dysfunctional government, whose budget has increased by an average of 28% annually every year for the past several years. 28%. You people have risen the state budget from $28 billion to over $48 billion in the past several years. For what? Nothing better. I've gotten nothing out of this. No improvement in the state what services it offers, no improved veteran services. The highways are no better. You've also tripled and quadrupled the cost of using the turnpikes. A trip that used to cost me 69 cents now costs me $3.10 just in the past decade. Where is that money going, Josh Shapiro, from the Turnpike Commission? Where is it going? It's not fixing the roads. The roads aren't 4 times better. There aren't 4 times as many roads. That money's going in somebody's pocket. Also, this is a strange state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, where they can raise property taxes without a voter input. In Pennsylvania, in Ohio, when you want to raise taxes for school districts, you must put a measure on the ballot, and then the voters get to decide whether to increase their own taxes. Not in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has a law that allows school districts to raise the taxes you pay into the school district every year by about, I think it's 2.8 or 2.9% without any input from the voter. That's just BS. My school taxes have doubled in several years. Doubled. Because they also went in and asked for other raises and they were granted that. So the reason Pennsylvania is having problems is because of Harrisburg. That's why. Harrisburg is the problem. Josh Shapiro is the problem. The Democrats in the House and the Republicans in the Senate, you are the problem. You are the problem. That's why the state is such a challenge. The price of gasoline has come down much, but Pennsylvania is the second highest gasoline tax in the country. Let's take a look at the current level. Current, unless it's changed. Okay. Gasoline taxes by state. Okay. California, Illinois, and Pennsylvania generally having some of the highest rates, while Alaska, Mississippi, and Hawaii have the consistently lowest. All right. Gasoline taxes by state right now. Okay. All right. So look at this. Look at this map. This is a heat map. And you'll see that Pennsylvania is one of the worst states. California, Illinois, and Pennsylvania. Look at that. Apparently others have gone ahead of us. So Pennsylvania charges 58 cents a gallon, the fourth worst in the country. Fourth worst in the country, despite being a major thoroughfare. 58 cents a gallon. That is why Pennsylvania is suffering. You take 60 cents a gallon on our gasoline. Right now, gasoline is going for $3 a gallon. The federal government takes 42 cents a gallon. The federal government takes less than Pennsylvania does. $1 of our gasoline cost goes to taxes. Why is that? Because you're thieves in Harrisburg. Where does the money go? You give it to illegal aliens. You give it to the poor. Well, how about you change the market dynamics in the state and then people won't need to be given money, handouts. Why isn't citizenship revoked for marrying brother? Because no one's taken the time to do the investigation to prove that it's true. It's just a rumor. I haven't seen any proof. Current barrel 62 down 14 since November 1st. Yep. How long have you guys had potholes? Because I notice a lot of people complain about them over that side. Okay, well, Quids, that's a silly question. The country has more roads than you've got freaking territory. What are you talking about? Potholes. What potholes? Where? New York City, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Milwaukee? Come on. Potholes are a challenge in a country that has weather. Weather buckles the road. The freezing temperatures cause problems. They cause pavement, concrete, blacktop to buckle and crack, and of course the weight from trucks. So you get potholes. The difference here is potholes are fixed, except in poorly run democratic cities where they're not fixed. I don't have any potholes here. No potholes here. The main highway out near me that runs between Pennsylvania and Maryland, in the wintertime last year, as the weather cleared up for spring, there were several breaks in the road where potholes are going to form. They were all fixed within a matter of days. Gas should be $1.50 a gallon without taxes. Mike, hey Mike, how you doing? It's why I'm seeing you there. Exactly. We pay $1 extra a gallon for gasoline here. So whenever I go to Maryland, which only has 46 cents, which is increased, by the way. It's much higher. It used to be lower. A couple years ago, they were only charging, I think, 20-some cents a gallon. Now they've increased it because they saw the money Pennsylvania was making. But I used to be able to go to Frederick, Maryland on my way down to D.C. or going to Maryland, and I would fill up there, and it would save me 70 cents a gallon. Yep, not anymore. Not anymore. And gasoline should be a lot cheaper. Mike, how's it going? Been a while. So Trump was pretty awesome. Now here's a highly contagious form of norovirus called winter vomiting disease. Winter vomiting disease. What the hell is that? Spreading across the country, including Pennsylvania. According to analysis of wastewater at 2 surveillance sites. Norovirus cases typically spike after Christmas and New Year's, but the number of new cases in November showed a notable increase. Norovirus. Winter vomiting disease. That's pretty scary. Winter vomiting disease. I'm sorry. That's pretty shocking. I don't need that. I don't need that. Oh my goodness. Miami has elected a Democrat as mayor for the first time in 3 decades, replacing Cubans. It's the first non-Latino in 3 decades. Eileen Higgins, former Miami-Dade County Commissioner, will also be the city's first female mayor and the first non-Hispanic since the 1990s. The Republican incumbent was termed out, so he couldn't run for again. So she wins at 61-year-old, become Miami's first female mayor and his first non-Hispanic mayor since 1990s. Cuban-American Republicans have dominated city politics over the past 3 decades. She says there were years of chaos and corruption. Really? Not according to most people. Miami's pretty popular. So, anyway. Miami is a city with about 500,000 people. It's Florida's second largest by population after Jacksonville. Miami has become more Republican in the past few election cycles, making Democratic victory all the more striking. Democrats slightly outnumber Republicans in the city. So how is it more striking? How is it more striking? There are more Democrats than Republicans, so they should win, all things being equal. Which holiday? Which holiday? Anyway, so Miami has a Democratic mayor. Congratulations to Miami. Not. We'll see how that goes from there. Anyway. So, 258 people currently here, 228 likes. Somebody's freeloading. That baffles me. Fuel prices gone up for South Africans for December, yet oil prices dropped considerably. Well, that's because they're pocketing the money. This is what happens when governments are communist and they control price controls. We've had that in the past. During the Second World War, the government had an office for price control. Yeah, they control the prices. Stupid stuff. It was wartime. That's why they did it. Doesn't excuse it, though. Shouldn't baffle you because communists are involved. So when you set the prices, you drive people into bankruptcy and you give windfall profits to people when you let the prices stay high. Quids was yanking my chain. Okay. Oh, they packed a few, brought a few with them. Gotcha. Okay, it was a joke. No, potholes are, it's a thing, you know. It's a thing. But our roads, it's challenging here. I mean, you think about it, it's currently right now 26 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's what, minus 4 or 5 Celsius. Temperatures, it's freezing outside right now. So if it's 6 degrees tomorrow, that's a huge shift. Water flows under the soil moves, that temperature cracks, and that's how you get potholes. You tend to have fewer potholes if roads are manufactured properly in warmer and temperate climates that don't have these major temperature shifts. What Rudolph says they do what every year during Christmas holiday season? What's that? Yeah, Loretta, I got a good afternoon nap. The best burgers you can have in America is in Miami. If any South Africans go to Miami, it's a place called United States Burger Service. Don't know it, Faithful Farmer. When I go to Miami, I tend to eat Cuban restaurants. But I don't like Miami. It does nothing for me. It's also in the path of hurricanes. I'm not a fan of hurricanes. 3% inflation target sounds an absolute joke. Just compare the cost of your top 10 expenses now versus a year ago. Exactly. Put fuel price. Oh, yeah, they put them up. Thank you. Thank you very much for explaining yourself, Rudolph. Yeah, they put the prices up. Yeah, because they just make more money. Yeah, it's a time. So, it's ironic what goes on with fuel prices, how crazy it can be. Right. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. Mad Max just gave us some news. Oh, my goodness, that's really loud. Turn that down a little bit there. South Africa warns foreign intelligence, obey laws or face counterintelligence. Seriously. South Africa's government warns foreign intelligence, obey the laws. She said that foreign intelligence officers based in the country must also respect the country's sovereignty in whatever activities they engage in while within South African borders. Minister of the Presidency Kumbuzo Nchiveni, who looked like a deer in the headlights in the Oval Office, has declared that all foreign actors operating in South Africa must do so within the bounds of law. She emphasized that foreign intelligence officers based in the country must respect the country's sovereignty. Say that South Africa's intelligence community continuously monitors global and regional dynamics. I'm sorry. So your intelligence services can violate our laws, but we have to respect yours. Yeah, salt also harms the roads, yeah. She noted that assessments in this domain typically highlight factors such as the impact of great power competition. She added that it's standard practice for sovereign states, including South Africa, to monitor the activities of foreign intelligence service within the borders. Yes, it is. It is standard practice. What's your point? We do it too. Why do we kick Russian spies out all the time? Because we're monitoring what they're up to. Minister reiterated the government's position that all foreign actors operating South must strictly respect our laws and sovereignty. These include the country's counterintelligence capabilities are appropriately tasked. No, they're not. No, your counterintelligence capabilities are focused on solidarity, AfriForum, and members of the Democratic Alliance. That's where your counterintelligence activities are focused. They're not focused on criminals. They're not focused on foreign operators. No, nice try. Nice try. They're appropriately tasked. Well, they're under-resourced, so that's just a silly thing. South African counterintelligence, what a joke. What an absolute joke. Like I said, my first trip to South Africa in 2022 after the scam was over, the lockdown scam, I was tailed by some intelligence services. I don't know who they were, but for a couple of days they followed me when I arrived in South Africa. They eventually gave up. But I almost walked over, one time when they were sitting in the car, I almost walked over and offered them a cup of coffee. It's legal to marry your cousin in Kentucky as well. Madeline's got to take off. A lot of people are going to head out for work here shortly. So be sure to hit the like button before you leave, though. Thanks. Thank you all for the super chat, Rev. We got it jacked up a little bit there. Appreciate that. What's going on here? Why is this thing? I think it's acting up. That Mad Max super chat is acting up in my studio. Come on. There we go. Yes, Nancy is just cranky because the U.S. is reading all their messages. Tire sales doubled and panel beaters get more suspension repairs. Yeah, that's true. Winter vomiting disease. Yeah, exactly. Long-term use is 6%. The blip in the czar was EU buying government bonds like crazy. Yeah, it's not sustainable. There are people intervening to prop up the rand. It sucks. News Pod just interviewed now with Charles. Oh, really? Wow. I didn't know that. Interesting. I haven't heard from Isaac in a while. What did Charles have to say? Come on. Oh, he's live right now. Huh.
En dis die program waar almal 'n kans kry om te praat.
Oh, there's Charles. I haven't bothered him since I was interviewing him, and then when I interviewed him, he got called away to work, so I haven't been bothering him. He's been in touch with me, though. Jeez, when did he come on? It goes all the way back to the whole thing with him. I'm trying to get to the beginning here.
Ek grap. Dis koud, man.
So this is what he did. Let's see this.
Woensdag 10 Desember en hier in my virtuele ateljee.
Ek grap. Dis koud, man. Dis nie so koud nie. Ek wou nog sê mense met laag lê in die plek wat nog nie wag.
Nee, ek dog jy kruip dalk weg vir
Dit lyk so, nee.
so iets hy dalk besluit om karwagte te jaag en so.
Ja, ek is moontlik.
Môre Charles daar uit Amerika.
Môre Isak.
Hoe gaan dit met jou? Wag, ek wil net 'n slukkie koffie vat hierso man.
Ja, ek gaan van daardie ding. Cheers.
Hoorie so, hoe loop die Amerikaanse koffie?
Ja, baie lekker.
Is dit?
Almal hulle drink filter koffie.
Yes, America has the best coffee in the world. Yep. Thank you, Charles. It's by Aleka. We do have the best coffee in the world. Maybe just dropped off. Hey, what's going on, Garrett? Evan, did you miss anything? I don't know. Did you miss anything? Hard to say. We covered a lot. Who dropped off, Charles or Isaac? Anyway, so. Oh, you during my interview? Yeah. No, he didn't just drop off. He said, I got to go. I'm like, okay, I'll let you go because his boss or somebody interfered. We picked the time that he picked, and it just didn't, so but it was still a good interview. ANC scrambling to get people to buy bonds because Trump could limit U.S. holding levels any time, and the local banks can't afford to buy anymore. Exactly, Dirk. That's the thing. That's what's going on. They're trying. It's a hard push now to get people to buy bonds before the U.S. Blocks anyone from buying them. Yep. Oh, I'm sure he was full of praise for the USA, Garrett. Yeah, I'm sure. He's been here longer now. So, yep. Although I bet he's freezing his butt off. Oh, I don't dispute that Kenyans have nice coffee. Uganda has nice coffee. Ethiopia has nice coffee, but America has the best coffee. Of course, we don't grow any, but it's all grown in the subtropics. Along that narrow band on the planet, only place coffee will grow. As commentary of this calculation, it's people who faithfully pay their taxes are going to have to pay for it. Yep. No doubt about that. Alrighty, guys, let me wrap it up here. I'm going to go hit the rack. Could do with good American hot milk and 2 brown sugars. Ooh, that sounds nice. Be sure to hit the like button. I'll be back. We've got Wednesdays with the Colonel on Ronaldo. And before that, I'll have my news program a little bit earlier. So have you touched on the Candace? What about Candace? Okay, before I go, what Candace thing, Mike? What are you talking about? I don't really pay attention to Candace Owens. I lost interest in her a long time ago. So I understand it. 54 billion was a shortfall in calculation. All they have to make up with the tariff. Okay. Doing my darndest to get coverage on that apartheid crimes bill from minuscule Islam party. It will be very ugly if it becomes law. I don't think it's become law, but yeah, it will be very ugly. ECB literally is just a hedge fund if they're buying South Africa. Okay. I'm waiting for Mike to come back to me with what's the Candace Owens thing. I don't know what he's talking about. Let me look and see if I can find out what's going on with Candace Owens. I don't really pay attention to her. Candace Owens. Tim Pool blasts Candace Owens for claiming his brother shot up his property. Cheap internet moment. Candace Owens responds after Tim Pool attacks her. She drops a new claim of Charlie Kirk killing and alleges possible U.S. She is a wackadoodle, man. Possible U.S. military. Candace Owens says U.S. military is involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Are you serious? Is that what you're talking about? Candace Owens, well-known conservative podcaster, has made a new and serious claim after the killing of Charlie Kirk. She now says the United States military is involved in his death. Owens shared this claim on her Instagram, saying she received an email from someone who said he's in the military. This is the latest theory. See, this is the problem. She received an email from someone saying he was in the military. Really? That's your source? She didn't share any proof. She wrote on Instagram, it feels today like it'll be the day the government can no longer deny it. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Our military is involved. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. To what end? I mean, first off, it didn't happen, but to what end? Seriously? This woman has lost the plot. Cyril Ramaphosa says South Africa is one of the few countries that give citizens free houses, assets now worth $300,000, and that this, along with social grants, free basic services, healthcare, and no-fee schooling, has lifted millions out of absolute poverty over 30 years. No, it hasn't. This is just a fantasy. Seriously, this guy's smoking. He's smoking something big. Let's get to that.
To me, that President, we've given houses to people. And I said, yes. And I said, if you were to value the houses that we're giving to our people today, that we've built for 160,000, obviously others we built much cheaper earlier. It means that we are giving them an asset base which is worth easily, in today's market prices, more than 300,000.
Okay, first off, I'm not gonna entertain that. Okay, first off, that's just a lie. You're not giving them title to the house, so it doesn't matter what the value of the house is. It belongs to the government of South Africa. Very few RDP houses and government-built houses are transferred to the occupants. So he can make this nonsense up. You retain the title to make them dependent. You can kick them out of the house at any time. If you've given the houses over to people, that's a different story. But you aren't doing anything. The taxpayers are doing that. The people of South Africa are the ones doing that. You're just taking credit for it. Gosh. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it is BS. I'll make a video on that, so here shortly. Standard Bank, hold $300 billion in debt. Zero owns 2% of the bank. See a trend, how easy it is to manipulate the rand. Yep. Thanks for a great show. Okay, Mike never did say what the issue was. If that's it, she's lost the plot. Candace Owens has lost the plot. Right, exactly, Dirk. So will the banks allow that you can use this fictional asset? Exactly. Can you pledge that RDP house for collateral? You can't. It's just an idiot. Yeah, he's living in a fantasy land, absolute fantasy land. I got to download the video and make a video about this. A lady approached her counsel to help her get title to her property. Been waiting over 20 years. Exactly. Another form of expropriation, redistribution, vote buying tactic. Exactly. My impression is outside South Africa is running on the fumes of an old South Africa. And he says, you're right, faithful farmer, you hit that spot on. Yep. There are approximately 225,000 outstanding transfer deeds. All RDP houses. Department is not releasing the transfer deeds. Exactly. Yep, so it's just a lie. He's just lying, and people believe it. They're just stupid enough to believe it. So, all right, now I really do need to end here, folks, because I need to make that video before I go to bed. All right? So, Mike, you'll have to send me a note about what you're talking about. I think I hit the nail on the head with Candace Owens. She's cuckoo, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Losing the plot. All right, guys, have a good night. Thanks. He just lies, lies, lies all the time. Yeah, that guy could be like the Springboks. The Springboks just win, 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 no matter what. Now he can just say it's this. And he just lies, lies, lies. All right, take care, guys. Be sure to take care of yourselves. Hit that like button, 273. Cheers.